Okay, our last topic, group and team dynamics, where I will include some strategies and a concept for from group cohesion. So it's a combined chapter 7 and 8. So in our profession, we cannot avoid working with other people, small to large scale of groups. That's a part of our life, and having good understanding of group dynamics and how to drive group energy into common values and goals is critical skill, and I have emphasized this one multiple times, and that's what we need to always pay attention, not only interpersonal skills myself, but being able to work with other people from the scratch is a critical skill in our profession, particularly in kinesiology field, where you will work with mostly group of people. And the picture that I have on the screen is a faculty group in kinesiology departments, which was taken a while ago. And you should be able to identify most of our faculty. This is the group that I have to deal with all the time. Work together, conflict one another, but we have a common goal to pursue. And that's the group that I wanted to share with you. And of course, I have other groups that I have to work with for the research and other committee work. Always group work. All right. Why we should study why we should study group dynamics and team cohesion. Like I said, our profession is basically working with somebody else, one or more. All right, and our legendary basketball player even emphasized how important group work in his quote here. He said, talent wins games, but teamwork wins championship, which is really true, right? We cannot have five different Michael Jordans in basketball team. We must have different people with different skills, right? And that teamwork wins championships. NBA coach Pat Riley also said teamwork is the essence of life. And in rehab setting and an exercise setting, researchers really confirmed that group exercise, working with somebody else, really help people work harder and stick to the program. Dr. Deborah Feltz, she is a leading researcher in self-efficacy, and she also talks about how important group activities to facilitate exercise behaviors. So in this clip, she will talk about how she designed her research to facilitate exercise behaviors like working harder and doing more and longer and with a little bit of a competition element, and she talks about it. So I want to watch this short video in your time. So in this lecture, what we're going to do, this is outline, what is a group? We will define group and also compare that definition characteristics with the team. How team is different from a concept of group. Then there are multiple theories, but I'm going to focus on only one theory, most popular theory in the field of group dynamics, and the leadership training always included this one theory, linear perspective theory. So I'm going to talk about that in lengthy in this video. And then after that, we will learn how to develop team color, team personality, and group identity, which is a team climate. Then we will move on with how to measure team climates, and then practical implications to conclude the lecture. So let's just start with what is a group. Group, more than one person, right? So more than one or more people who interact and exert mutual influence on each other and share the following characteristics. So multiple characteristics in the bullet points. So to help our understanding, I'm going to use us as a group, Kin Photo for students. So 79 students and myself. Okay. Then I have actually guest members on island. I don't know whether you identified, were able to see them, but I have guest members, other faculty members, and one graduate students watching what we're doing here. So, so including all about 83 for people on island. So that group has a collective sense of identity. What is it? It's a kin photo for, right? That's identity. Distinctive roles. We have all distinctive roles, different from others. Not all distinctive, but at least we have distinctive role. You, student role, myself, teacher role. And we have reviewers of the course, and I have graduate students who is also learner to become better teacher. And then, so you see some distinctive roles right there. We have a sense of shared purposes and objectives. Yes, Photo 4 has objectives for students' learning outcomes, right? And I also have my objectives as a teacher. So that's what we have as a group. Structured mode of communication. We talk about what? ABC of a human being, us, ABC, our ABC in physical activity. We have settings, school education, physical education class, in sports, right? That's our communication mode. And a personal and task interdependent. So what we are doing group work, task interdependent, but also you have some sort of a personal interdependent to rely on, ask questions, and that's developed a little bit. On online course, that personal interdependent can be a little bit weaker than face-to-face class, but that's what we develop as a group. And also personal attraction. So we attracted to personally for like to learn together, to study together. And when actually I asked questions you all, how many, like whether you made friends in this class, and some of you, I would say good 90% of you actually said that you made one or two, more than two friends that you can rely on each other for your learning. So that's what we developed over time. And also we have group norms in terms of how to behave, how to engage in class during the forum, communication mode, and expectations of a performance. That's all laid it out well in the course syllabus. That is the group. Okay, that's us as a group. Now, in the next slide, I'm going to differentiate between group and team. And you will see they share similarities, but there is distinctive differences. So in terms of a group, um, the goals to pursue, it tended to be more general and less strong. So in this class, photo 4, some of you shooting for A. I can tell some of you are okay with B's. And that is not strong toward the one outcome, but we want to do well. That's our goals, right? And like I said, we have a task and personal interdependency for sure, and that develops over time. But less distinctive roles other than my role, right, and your role. There are not clear other roles in particularly you as a student group. So that's the group. On the other hand, when you look at team, as you can see from the picture also, collective sense of identity is clear. They always say team means we needs, not I needs, and then collection of I needs. It's like they don't say I, it's just us, we. That's the collective sense of identity under team concept. And everybody has distinctive roles. And let me use an example of sports team, basketball team. Then you know they have, each one of you will have a position, right? That's a distinctive role. Structured mode of communication has a clear line of communication, not general communications, but they all talk about basketball and how to win, and then that's the team. And they have a clear norm that guide members on what to do, what not to do, and then that's the team. So can you see group and team differences? Team has stronger, more intensive common ground than group. So having that said, after that definition, now theories of group development becoming more of a team, and there are three different theories And they taps it on slightly different ones, but at the end of the day, linear perspectives theory taps it on the other two, like encompass the other two. So I'm going to go over only linear perspective theory, which can be well used for short-term groups as well as long-term groups. So more specifically, here we go. Linear perspective theory has a total of 5 stages that a group of people go through to become a team and in group dynamics. Using Dr. Seuss rhyming, each stage is called forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. And if they are done, the life cycle of the group is done, it reaches its end, they unform the group. That's called adjourning, which was added more later on of this theory. So I'm going to go over each stage with the characteristics and what leader can do. First one is forming, where each individuals, so group of people get together. Then what do? You're trying to communicate, introduce yourself. So communication is not channeled toward the group goal yet. It's more superficial, and you start accessing each other's strengths and weakness and personalities, and you try to feel where you fit in that group. And sometimes you will see few people popping up as a leader and try to organize that group memberships and channel the language, the communications a little bit, which is more like group climate and personalities are slowly developing, and that's the forming stage. And in I would say, beginning of the semester, you experience this in the classroom when you meet, right? Leader's role in this stage, when you see a group of people like that, it's very critical leader doing this. Preset structures, like how you're going to run this group, and group goals, okay, and expectations and norms, which include performance, behavioral, and emotional norms and communication norms, even putting that to the group. And that's what I exactly did with this class course syllabus. And this is about the course, this is expectation, this is performance requirements, blah 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 blah, which can be changed over time, but you need to bring that up to the group so that the group can see and feel it, what's like, right? Once a group passes forming, then they move to the storming stage. It naturally happens, okay? And there are mainly, it's more of a conflicting stage. As you can see, it's just storming, and the members just start having some issues. And those issues are around these key 4 issues. Who is the leader here? Sometimes some people act like a leader amongst the members, but at the same time, are you the leader? Am I the leader? Kind of a conflict. Then they start asking, like, raising an issue like, what is the real task? What are we supposed to do here? And everybody's understanding of the given task can be differently interpreted, right? That conflict starts around it in this stage. And differences in personality preference and performance expectations. So people have different personalities. Some are more outgoing, some are more introverted, and some wants fast outcome, like I want to get A in this class, versus some like I'm okay with B's. That conflicts, it's kind of like coming out during the interactions among group members. And also people develop some dislikes about someone's behavior and personality, like, ooh, I don't like that personality. That conflict happens in storming stage. What leaders can do, and if you detected that, communication is a key again. Communicate with your followers objectively, openly, what you saw, and also talk about each member's role on the team again, and you have some expectations and group structures, preset structures, putting that back to the group to have that communication so that you can reduce role conflicts and ambiguity. If those team structure do not set in the beginning, storming stage could be longer, or you end up breaking up after storming stage because you end up hating each other too much. So that's the storming stage. Also, you can create space for team members to talk through their goals. So it's kind of like group goal setting strategies. We talked about this one in goal setting strategies, but I want to go over one more time, and that's a group goal setting strategies. So storming stage, if you see it, you come up with some strategies. Also help members to set group goals following some strategies. So group goals basically is goals desired by enough member of a group to work toward its achievement. So you set the goals together collectively to achieve it. That's a group goal. There are 3 steps that you need to go through process. This process is more important than the goal itself. All right, this needs to be done before you come up with a set of goals to achieve together. So, as a group, develop a list of a shared group. Let them do it as a leader. Or if you're a group member, you develop with your members together. Give them the space and time and opportunity to talk about. Not one person or 2 person, everybody. Then identify tasks that group must perform to achieve their goals. Like, okay, these are the list of shared goals. What do we need to do? Then that's a step 2. Third is how we are going to do it. That's the process. How you're going to do it. Who is going to what? Who is going to do what? And who is going to do the other? All right. And when you're assigning this tasks and goals to individuals, it's not about cookie cutter strategy. Like you divide it, you do 1 to 2, I'll do 3 to 4, you will do. No, 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 no. That doesn't work like that. So as a group, you have group goals and tasks that you identified, and then see who has what strength among that task, and then try to match it with the strength and interest with the members. That works the best, and that's the way to bring your motivation and cohesions up. For group project, as an example, if somebody is a good writer, have that person do the final write-up. If another person is good in videotaping, have that person does a good videotaping or editing, and that's the way to do effective the group work efficiently. Okay, so that's a process that you need to go through. How to set goals. Group goal setting principles very similar to the individual goal setting principles that you learned earlier, or you'll be learning. Uh, uh, you will learn. You learned in goal setting principles. So first, long-term goal, short-term goal. Then in the process, all members engaged. Once you have a goal, you monitor progress and have some sort of a reward system so that everybody gets some rewards when you reach the goals. Then in the process, identify some sources of group collective self-efficacy. And then when you identify those sources of collective efficacy, then you implement those so the collective efficacy goes up. And also goal setting is planning as well. Okay? So planning means if it doesn't go as you planned. So you need to stay flexible so that you can adjust to your goals as it goes. That's goal setting strategies. So that's a strategy that you can use, particularly in storming stage. Okay. So once you pass the storming stage, members start coming together and developing unity and cooperation. And then some conflicts are resolved. Then you will see they develop a good, strong sense of sense of who they are as a group, core values, and start to slowly working together toward common goals. And you will feel as a group when your members yourself in the norming stage feel more stabilized. Okay, what is the leader's role in the process? positive feedback, praise their hard work and quality work. Particularly, more importantly, leader needs to emphasize not only the whole unit doing great job, but also individuals' contribution. Everybody did something unique, important contribution, and acknowledging it as a leader. In it, that's the key to keep the group dynamic positive. When the group of people pass the norming stage, now you will see it's becoming more team, and it reaches performing stage. That's the stage that leaders enjoys most. Everybody, team members, now you will see team, not group anymore. Team have agreed upon new ways of relating together. Team has good relationship among members. Communication is open, honest, and direct, and no one is feeling bad about certain situation, and team is operating at high level of performance. So you will see the everybody is channeling their energy toward team success and team goals. In this stage, I mean, it's a happy, what is it, like a happiness is just reaching its sky, and everybody is enjoying what they're doing. What leaders can do, yes, enjoy the moment with the members, but at the same time, it's a human being. So that positive group dynamics could break any time for any reason. Okay, so leader has to always watch whether there is any other sub cliques are forming, or whether there is any intra-team competitions, or is there any interpersonal aggression. Watch those. And if you see that it's happening one or two, then you need to do some teamwork activities so that you can minimize those potential pop-up negative energies amongst the group members. Also, feedback and reinforcement that you will be using. Again, individual's special contribution, important role of each individual. You need to emphasize as a leader, and that's the way to keep the group dynamics positive direction, and keeping group dynamics positive. As you're really emphasizing importance of each individual's role and their contributions, you're truly creating what task involving climate, master the motivational climate, which is recommended by researchers also as a most healthy motivational climate for better outcomes, ABC outcomes. When the team reaches its end and a life is done, then a team unforms, and that's called a journey. So, linear perspective theory, again, one by one. First, performing, forming, storming, norming, performing, and when it's end, it's a life cycle, then a journey. This sequence is not the way it is laid it out. It's not first step is performing, second step is storming. No, it's not like that. This sequence can flip or skip. Okay, so some teams come and they could start with the norming right away, and or some groups start the forming, go back to storming, and then they move down to the storming, then they adjourn because they cannot stand anymore. Or teams start performing very short, then they just go straight down performing. So the sequence can be flipped, flopped, and skipped. Okay. In terms of also duration, how long each group stay in each stage can vary depending on memberships and members' personalities, their dynamics, and leaderships in that process. The duration can change anytime.